I'd like to call to order the City of Saugatuck City Council meeting for September 8th, 2025. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jamie, will you call the roll?
Anderson, here. Clark,
Here.
Dean,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Muncy, Peterson,
Here.
Stan.
Here. Gregory is unable to attend tonight. Can somebody make a motion to excuse him?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Muncy.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's comments, I'll keep them short. My nephew and his wife were in town for about 5 days. And it was so much fun touring them around Saugatuck. They loved Oval Beach, Saugatuck Wild, playground, just walking around town. They got to meet some of the city staff because of course they had to come inside City Hall. So it was a lot of fun. And then Baldhead is always was just awesome on Saturday. So I did the early morning race packets, which was fun to see all the runners come in to get those and work with all the folks. So a great town. So that's it for me, Ryan. Your comments?
Yeah, certainly, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So kind of exciting to kick off the land use master plan, at least kind of some community engagements. That process is kicked off, and so I just got an update this morning. And actually, I'm pleasantly surprised with the results so far, because we're about a week and a half in so far. But we have received 146 responses so far. Of those, 73 are full or part-time residents, which is 57% so far. So still more to come. Really appreciate our folks in the media, our partners in the media for sharing our press release. Both the Holland Sentinel and Commercial Record did that. So grateful to them for that. We'll continue to push on kind of our e-news and on social media. The clerk's team just today was working on kind of getting address information together to send out a postcard that's been designed by our consulting planner that covers both the open house that's coming up at the end of the month and the survey. So really asking for your help as well. Spread the word, let folks know that the survey's out there, but also really want folks to kind of drop in anytime from 5 to 7 for that open house that's coming up as well. Quick update from the. Yep, paper copies are here too, so if anybody needs that, we'll make sure all that data gets inputted as well. So, yep, thank you, Jamie. Quick update on the Warnock drain assessment. I think the clerk shared it on Friday with all of you. The drain commissioner, I talked with them following your meeting and your workshop meeting last week. They have agreed to at least do a new day of review date for at least us at the city of Saugatuck. That's next week on the 16th. So I'll be working with our engineers to kind of review and see if we have any particular concerns and kind of discuss those more in depth with the drain commissioner at the day of review and see if they're willing to make any changes or not. As you likely know, they don't have to make any changes. It's kind of our opportunity to kind of state our position, and if they make changes, great. And if not, and we still disagree, then we would have some other options really to pursue it in the courts if that were your direction. Other than that, I think we'll leave it there unless there's any questions.
Questions, Ryan, Chris?
Not so much a question as a comment. I had asked, I think at the last city council meeting regarding the gentleman that's in the gazebo.
Mhm.
And so I visited with the on-point person in charge of housing today. And my understanding is that he has a voucher for housing. He just chooses not to use it. He prefers to stay where he's at. So at some point, we're going to have to figure out what to do. I know it's a complex issue and it might status quo, we might do something. I have no idea. But at some point, we're going to probably have to address it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll certainly follow up with them. I haven't heard that there's a voucher that's been offered, so I don't know if that's a recent development. In fact, just today I emailed them to see if they had an update, anticipating that it might come up this evening. So I'll follow up on that.
Thanks.
Is On Point the point case officer or is it the VA?
The VA,
It
Chris
is.
Fredericks.
Oh, so you spoke with the VA. Okay.
I'm in contact with them. He hasn't gotten back to me with other
Okay.
options.
Okay, so you've talked to the On Point person who gave you the VA guys. Okay, thanks.
Anything else for Ryan? Any agenda changes? Okay, no guest speakers, public comment on agenda items only. Anyone with a comment on something on the agenda? All right, that takes us to the consent agenda and it begins on page 3. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second. Any questions or comments? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Takes us to staff reports, boards, commissions, and committees. Staff reports. Any questions about Ryan's report? Any questions about, actually, we don't have treasurer or clerk's reports this time as we move to a different cadence. Or public works, police, engineer. So that takes us to boards and commission.
You should in this packet.
Oh, we do.
Yep. Yep.
Indeed. Any questions about those? Yes, Chris.
I have one about the Department of Public Works. There was some discussion last time that there were trees being cut. I mean, and Scott was gonna look into that. Is that accurate or is that a rumor? That there was a trail being cut that supposedly wasn't cut by them?
Are you referring to the, the wilds?
At the
Yeah.
wilds, yeah.
Last I talked with him, during our staff meeting, he was gonna do some follow-up with, the commenter at the Parks and Public Works meeting that had mentioned that to see if we could get any more details on that. So, I have my next meeting with Scott is on Friday and it's on my list to follow up with him on there.
Thank you.
Any other questions on any of the staff reports? Okay, that takes us to, we all learned that Dan isn't here for the fire district administration. Gregory's not here for interurban. Cal Lake Sewer and Water. Joe, anything?
No report till our next meeting.
Okay, Chris, anything on?
We have a
Cal Lake?
meeting tomorrow and Greg Wycamp from Edgewater is going to give his report on kind of where we're at and where we could possibly go with different ideas.
Great, and we also saw Dick Waskin's letter in the packet, so. Russ, no zoning board of appeals, Russ Historic.
Yeah, thank you. We met last Thursday, September 4. Our major item of business was discussion about revisions to the plan for 142 Butler, which is just down the street here, right next to Kilwins. Actually, it's the building 2 in from Kilwins on Mason, or on Butler off of Mason. And they're doing some more comprehensive, after digging a little bit in the building, they found some issues that they didn't know until they actually started to do the tear down. And so what they came back with was some revisions to the east storefront elevation, including the replacement of the previously approved single pane window with a 4-pane aluminum frame set, demolition of the first and second floor rear portions of the building, and reconstruction of the first floor addition and construction of a second floor bedroom addition and roof deck. Most of the changes that they proposed will not be seen from the front of the building. And of course, the Historic District Commission is tasked with the building exterior, and especially building exteriors that can be seen by the public, either on the street right of way, street view, or the water view from the properties that are waterfront. So good discussion with Chuck and the building owner. Chuck is the architect, and basically the commission said that they were on board with everything that was proposed. The only issue that we had was replacing the single pane window with a divided light for window, which may not seem very important, but if you just spend a moment, walk down Butler Street, you'll notice that most of the buildings on the street have single pane windows. So we asked that they change that back to a single pane window, which they've agreed to do, and then we approved that request unanimously. So they're going to be starting to work on that project. It'll be a nice change to that building. So actually, they're reverting back to the original look of the building. There were 4 administrative approvals, which we did not discuss, but were on the agenda. The last item that we did discuss is historic district signage. The council, or pardon me, the commission has a proposal for $880 for a company that Tim Straker recommended to the city to do some design work and his thought ideas on this. So Ryan was at the meeting with us as well, so heard the conversation. And I don't know where we left it in terms of getting approval from the council to spend the $880. Was that something we needed to bring to the table tonight for approval?
It'll be at a future workshop. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we thought that was a pretty reasonable expense for what they're gonna be producing for the city. The idea here is to replace the two signs that are at the north and south entrances to town and adding two additional signs, probably at the base of Lake and Allegan. And I forget where the fourth one's gonna go, but anyway, the signs have not been updated in 40+ years. They look very much like a state park sign would look. So in keeping with the importance of the historic district to the city, it's been proposed that we replace those signs with something that's more representative and in keeping with what we're trying to do in terms of promoting the historic district. So that'll be coming to the council for further discussion.
Great.
That was it.
Thanks, Russ.
Okay.
Joe, anything on planning?
Not tonight.
Okay. Lauren, DPW.
Yeah, we met on August 26th, and just a couple of highlights from that meeting. We did have that request from Ken Butler on putting an actual trail crossing across 63rd Street to join the two trails between Saugatuck Wilds and the Tails and Trails Park. It's just a request at this time. Ryan's aware of it, and so we may hear something about that further down the line. But if you look on a map, you see that it's just right across 63rd that those two could be connected. And for future use, we might see the Saugatuck Cross Country team possibly being able to use that whole setting to be able to have their own home cross-country meets. That's one of the reasons, but just to be able to connect the trails to make it a longer trail. We also had, it was just educational in nature, but we had a presentation from John Cleese. He's a native and ecological landscape designer, and he presented ideas on areas of the city that could benefit from what a lot of people refer to as pocket prairies. Those are where native grasses, wildflowers, and other plant life that supports pollinators like bees and butterflies. And he talked about the Peterson Preserve, the hill on Mason Street behind the SCA, and also that drainage ditch area in Coughlin Park as potential areas where we might benefit from those types of things. And it was also nice educational for our own yards of things that we could be planting in our own yards that are just more environmentally friendly. So it was really an interesting presentation. So it was educational in nature. I enjoyed it. Our next PPW meeting is September 23rd.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Lauren? Anything new on the tri-community non-motorized trail?
Nothing to add beyond what the manager's bulleted out on page 20 of his report.
Great. Questions on that? No. Okay, Water System Operations Contract Advisory Committee, is that moved at all?
No, we have a meeting next Monday, so hopefully have something to report afterwards.
Awesome. And I'm trusting there's no
No
wildlife.
On
Okay.
wildlife.
Takes us to approval of accounts payable on page 35.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve our accounts payable in the amount of $764,515.22.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Anderson,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes,
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes, I would just note that about 85% of the expenses were passed through for tax collection.
Peterson. Yes. Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries. No public hearings or unfinished business or new business, which takes us to public comments, which can be about anything. To the podium. You could start with your name and where you live.
Okay, I'm Jan Cohen and I live in Douglas, actually. But I do have a couple of nonprofits that kind of spill over into both towns. One of them is Good Trouble Indivisible. We're the group that protest on the bridge and are chalking everywhere. And I wanted to be clear, I just went through this with Douglas, so I wanted to make sure that my information was correct, that with washable sidewalk chalk anywhere in Saugatuck, it's permissible to chalk on the sidewalks. It doesn't fall into the ordinance that says damage and destroy and deface and all of those things because it's washable chalk. So I wanted to make sure before we chalked in Saugatuck that there wasn't going to be any problems like there were in Douglas. I was detained by the police, but the truth of the matter is, Chief told me he should have never done that. He was completely out of line. So I just wanted to do this ahead of time instead of after the fact and make sure that everybody was on the same page and that we weren't violating anything.
We appreciate that. Maybe our city manager can follow up with you right after the meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Anyone online wish to make a comment? See anything, do you, Jamie? Okay. That takes us to correspondence with Mr. Waskin's letter. Council comments. Joe, you want to start?
Ryan stole my thunder, just a reminder to take the survey. It's out there and you can get through it relatively quickly, but it's important. So anybody watching the meeting online or going over the video, encouraging everyone to get out there and take it.
Just a big thank you to not only city staff, but all the volunteers from Rotary and just all the folks in the community that that came out for the Mount Bald Hedge Challenge. 755 registrants, probably one of the biggest turnouts ever. I'm told by the organizers that they'll be, making over $100,000 for the Boys and Girls Club, which is amazing. And that, that's apparently served something like 200 families in our community. So big thank you to everybody that made it a success.
Yeah, he said exactly what I was going to say. So, yep, thanks to everybody. It was really fun volunteering as always for the Mount Bald Head Challenge, and it's like the smiles on all those runners' faces. Like they're smiling and they have like 1 mile left and they're still smiling. And it was just really incredible. And the after party was really fun at Coughlin Park. So thanks to everybody.
Yeah, I just want to thank, I worked at the top of Bald Head again this year, and it's good to see a number of people that I know running up there. Not a lot of smiles at the top of Bald Head. But anyway, good event. One question though is, next year, can we talk about having the chain ferry running on the race day? Because I just see so many missed opportunities to have like the winners use the chain ferry, volunteers to save on some parking on the west side of the river. I had a number of people ask me about the chain ferry on that day. So I just think from an event standpoint, I'd like to see that discussed, to have that running next year. And if anybody wants to be shown how to run the ferry, I'd be glad to show you my skills. I used to do it back in the day. It's not hard to do. So I think we should have that would be a definite plus for the event and for our visitors. I also had a call today from Brad Lubbers, our township commissioner, in follow-up to conversation we had previously, particularly about Blue Star Highway and the section in the city between the roundabout and Maple and down towards Lake Street. And if everybody's driven through that, I'm sure, right? So one of the things that has come up is that the speed limit goes from 35 to 50 for literally a quarter mile, and then it drops down to the speed of the roundabout. And I'd been asking, has this even been discussed? Because it seems to me to be a little confusing for drivers. If you drive through there, all of a sudden it goes to 50 and then it drops to 35. So according to Commissioner Lubbers, he's had a lot of calls about this, and the process is to contact the township to ask if they'd be willing to, I guess, petition the county to do a speed study. I've had several people that have commented on this as to why don't we just change the speed? And I said, well, there's a process to go through. So I told him, I said, I'd bring this up in council comments. I don't know if the township would have any interest at all in even discussing this, but it seems to me it'd be a simple thing to probably address and to create a little bit less confusion for drivers, especially if they head north or south on the south side of the roundabout. Do people know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Actually, this has come up before.
Yeah, I brought it up several times. So the commission was kind enough to call me today, and he did some follow-up and said that's the process. So I don't know if there's anything official we do, or just maybe an excuse to call to Daniel and say hi and see if there's any interest at the township level to even do that. It's their responsibility because it's in the township, so.
Yeah, I can
I
check
don't
that area, and then other areas of Blue Star in general actually came up at that safe routes to school meeting that we had last week. And I think there was a little bit of a word of caution from the sheriff's department and asking for
But it
speed
was,
studies,
yep.
because typically if you do a speed study, it oftentimes will show that the
Yes.
roads can handle more speed.
Yep.
And if it does, then you gotta
Do it.
Yep.
it can go up. So, so there's risks to taking that approach, but I can certainly ask Daniel if that's on the, and certainly improvements along Blue Star and slowing that traffic down in general and reconfiguring that area, in general, that corridor, I should say, that area. is certainly on their radar and something that they've been advocating for, but I can ask, yep.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd also like to just thank everybody that was so nice downtown. There were so many people and the shopkeepers were so excited. We went out for supper a couple of times and they just couldn't believe how in the shoulder season it was so busy. I'd also like to talk again about speeding on Allegan. I walked the dog there and now that school started, we have a lot of young kids just flying through there. And I don't know if there's anything we can do. It'd be nice to have one of those cameras that then you know, just find them right away and send it to the parents. But maybe not. But anyway, they're speeding a lot there. So, and that's all I have.
Right, well, I won't, we're at 21 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna hold it out.
You hold the record, Chris. I don't really have anything other to add than it was just a great few days in Saugatuck. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carried, adjourned.
That's so